Then George Sally sat down to his drafting table and dreamed a dream of speed. The car emerged with a motor laying on its side. Sponsor Sandy Balland approved, and they hired Sam Hanks to drive the new car. Progress had changed the look of the speedway. A new tower and stands replaced the old pagoda. The pits were changed to turn one, still the same old story, and probably always will be. In the qualifying season of 1957, there were no problems for Sam Hanks. The new car proved to be just what the builder Sally had hoped for. Other car builders rushed to their drafting boards to try and match or improve upon George Sally's brainchild. Here it is. '57, race day. Everybody having a lot of fun. The bands were there. So were the great drivers with the great cars. Lovely actress Sid Charisse ready to kiss the winner after the race. The balloons floating skyward, a blaze of color, touching off the most colorful spectacle in competitive sports. The start was a good one. Pat O'Connor on the pole got the lead. He was dueling with Troy Ruttman, but the race didn't last for long for Ruttman. He retired into the pits with mechanical difficulties. Paul Russo in his Novi went into the lead after moving from the 10th starting position. Sam Hanks had been challenging, and in the 36th lap, he got to the front spot. Turn 1 was waiting for Al Keller on his 75th lap. And then Sam Hanks made his third pit stop, and that allowed Jim Rathman to sweep into the lead. Here's Hanks coming in. The Balland crew went into action. The pit time was 34 seconds, and that was fast for 1957. Today, with improved methods, pit time has been cut to about 19 seconds. Going back out on the track now, Hanks has a big job cut out for him. Rathman is driving to win, and he's proved to be a real tough competitor. And by the 196th lap, Hanks was leading, but Rathman was breathing right down his neck. And at the finish, it was Hanks in front, but Rathman just 21.5 seconds behind him. Now pulling into victory lane, Sam Hanks realizes the ambition of a lifetime, and the final proof of George Sally's car design was a matter of record. Overcome with emotion, Hanks became the first man since Ray Haroon in 1911 to announce his retirement in victory lane. A year later, the Sally car bears the coveted number 1. Jimmy Bryan, a cigar-smoking champion from Phoenix, Arizona, was hired to drive the car. Sam Hanks stuck by his word, complete retirement from racing. That's Jimmy Bryan. Sitting at ease in his car, several cars behind, are Ed Elysian, Dick Rathman, Pat O'Connor of North Vernon, Indiana, all of whom have dreams of winning the event. The balloons into the sky again. And the cars ready to pull onto the track to compete in a race which was to feature one of the most spectacular and tragic accidents in speedway history. Actually, it began with a fouled-up start. 3 cars were running out of position as the pace car pulled off. A false start was made under the yellow flag. Then as they came around, the next time, the green flag was given to a field of jittery drivers, and the 3 out-of-formation cars had taken their correct positions at the last moment. They fairly flew down the straightaway. Elysian was determined to be the first man into turn 3 after coming out of the back stretch. Dick Rathman, of course, and other drivers were equally determined that he would not be. And here they come, heading for what was one of the most spectacular crashes in all history. Watch it. Then, like tired warriors coming from battle, the battered cars came into the pits for emergency repairs. Spectators and officials in the main straightaway still didn't know what had happened, except that tragedy had struck. At least 17 cars were involved. Pat O'Connor became the first Indianapolis race fatality since 1955. Paul Russo urges his battered Novi back into the race. Al Dean, with the hat on, comforts his rookie driver, A.J. Foyt. And Jimmy Bryan moves into the lead, having safely threaded his way through the wreckage in turn 3. Then, as the green light came on again, he was passed by Tony Bettenhausen, who was in turn challenged by Eddie Sachs and George Amick. Paul Russo was out on the track, but he had to come back into the pits. He makes a highly emotional plea to his mechanic Gene Marcinak to do something. Anything. Keep the car in the race. And as Russo in car number 15 pulls out onto the track once again, Billy Garrett comes in. His car is through. Yes, and he feels the angry frustration of knowing that a minor but important mechanical failure has sidelined $30,000 worth of car and Billy Garrett with it. Then Jimmy Bryan made his third pit stop. The Milan crew, a real well-trained unit, goes to work. Actually, the pit stop looks unhurried, but they made very fine time, and well they might, because out on the track, Johnny Boyd setting a pace that's fast eating into Bryan's lead. Jimmy, sitting there, knows that, too. He says, come on, fellas, let's go. So charging out of the pits, Bryan was a scant 150 yards ahead of Boyd, and that's not much of a lead, but it's enough for the moment. Jim Rathman spins into the pits. He was able to continue, but the next lap, he pitted for good. Well, the race is coming now closer and closer to the checkered flag, and Bryan is really turning it on. Almost unnoticed late in the race, the depleted field lost another car here on turn number 1. Out on the track, how would you like to take a ride with Jimmy Bryan? Here we go. Speeds of 138 miles. Hang on to your hat. We're coming to that turn. Jimmy Bryan gets the checkered flag, and his last laps were easy, and his trip into victory lane is a certainty. The checkered flag is out, and Jimmy Bryan, a real champion in every respect. However, his ride into victory lane bore the overtones of the tragedy that had struck earlier in the race. His speed was 133.791 miles per hour on the average. Not quite as good as Sam Hank's record of the year before, but good considering the race had been run under the caution flag for a long period of time.